All right, beautiful people, welcome back to another amazing and impactful episode of the Truvel podcast, where we try to live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, and as usual, I have the beautiful, the elegant, the smiling, the fresh hair washed queen herself with the curls popping.
It's still wet and
everything. Please introduce yourself.
What's up, party people? My name is Sinclair, aka
The Health Nerd.
And yes, here on a relatively gloomy Saturday afternoon. I'm actually not a huge fan of like this gloomy weather. The only reason I like it, I don't know, I probably like it for the same reason you like it though. The only reason I do like it is because it's snuggle weather.
Exactly.
And it means like you want to stay inside and watch movies, which is probably what we're gonna do later, and yeah. So that is one reason why I like it. But other than that, I generally don't like gloom. I'm like, if it's gonna be gloomy, then let it be raining.
Yes.
Because I love the sound of the rain. But if it's just gloomy, it's like, why? Bring the sun back.
Yeah, I agree. I do like this gloomy weather. I think shortly after this podcast, we'll probably have a very relaxed day. Maybe a Matrix marathon, because I know we talked about watching Matrix the other day. Or we can find another just marathon so you can watch the same movie. I want to be stuck in the same universe for some time, for some hours. But before we dive in, that was a complete random thing. But let's talk about the week, Queen. How was your second to what is the date today? It's the 20-something? How has October been treating you so far?
October 24th.
There we go. Thank you.
I have no idea. The week was good. The week was... Next week I go back to going into the office full time, so it's my last week working from home part time.
Boo.
Yeah, it is what it is. Gotta go back to normal. It's far from normal, but yeah, I feel like it was a good kind of last week, to a little bit chill, productive. Like my energies were pretty good throughout the week.
Nice.
Made some good steps towards the real estate.
Yes, we did.
It was kind of in a lull, so that was reassuring to make those steps. Like we got our first list of properties that we were looking at. We narrowed it down, so it feels good to be one more step closer to our goal. So.
Right, and if you're wondering what we're talking about, go back and maybe check out the under construction, or we did a whole episode on real estate investing, and I think we talked about our strategy. So definitely, rewind a little bit and learn a little about the steps that we're trying to make, and we definitely encourage other folks who have the resources and time to either plan to do that or actively do it right now.
And I just want to say, I don't want to harp on this too much. Go back to listen to the podcast, but it does not take as much money as you would think to start investing in real estate.
Right.
I've heard a lot of people talk about like cars and paying off their cars and things like that. I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm saying you can take probably the same amount of money you would take to put down on a car or something and invest in a whole like multi-family real estate property in another state. Probably not California, but in another state.
Definitely not California.
So, yeah, that's all.
Yeah, so go back to the episode.
Yeah.
So my week has been, I don't know, I feel like it was a cool week. I think it could have been better. Looking at like my to-do list when I was out there, I feel like there were things on my to-do list that I haven't gotten to yet. But overall, it was a week, yes, and a step forward in real estate. But I feel like the queen, I really give all the real estate praise to her because she's been doing most of that work. I just hop on calls and make people smile. So
needed. It's so needed because I'm like this.
Oh, yes, she is. So I feel like as far as like my own goals and things that I'm trying to do personally, slight step forward. We did get an update on the self-love stuff, which was good. Shout out to Markel and the Rare X team. Much love for the collaboration. So hopefully that's finally moving forward. COVID had some pauses on stuff, but we're finally able to make steps towards that. So that's exciting. Because I hate making people wait. And I know there's a lot of people waiting on it, so that's been a stressor in my head. But yeah, it's been a cool week, but looking forward to next week. For sure. All right, today's podcast. All right, we're going to be talking. Actually, Queen, you did most of the research on this one, so I'm gonna shift it over to you to give the introduction. But do not start talking about it. You do this every time. You just dive right in. Yeah, no. But go ahead, Queen. Introduce what the episode is.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Biohacking. That's what we're talking about. So, if you're like me a couple months ago, probably don't know what the heck biohacking, probably never heard of it. But the thing is, we've all done biohacking in some way, shape, or form. So I don't know if you want me to dive into the definitions.
Oh gosh. All right. And now, let's get into the episode. Alright, we're back. Sinclair, go ahead and dive into.
It's hard to do an intro without talking about what it is.
Go ahead, Queen.
Okay, great.
Y'all see what I have to do with the professionalism. Gosh, come on now. There it is. Ooh, tie. Yes. Ooh, button up. Oh, break out the phone. Come on. Come on. Ain't that the face recognition?
Honestly,
never works?
I'm over facial recognition. I'm over it. Can
it's
we go backwards?
Your hair's wet. That's why.
Maybe that's what it is.
I did like the fingerprint.
I was fine. I was fine
works.
with the fingerprint. Can we please go back in time?
Just removed it altogether. Come on.
There wasn't a vote. I don't get. You can just make these decisions for us. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
If y'all work for Apple, Google, any other phone manufacturer, just please go ahead and slide that note in there. We did like the fingerprint.
Yeah. All right. So biohacking. I have 3 definitions. So I'm going to read them. They're all slightly different, but I'll basically say the same thing.
And then I'll probably give my definition that I'll make up on the spot in my head.
There you go. So the first definition is the practice of changing our chemistry and physiology through science and self-experimentation to energize and enhance the body. Mm-hmm. So this is from Tony Robbins, motivational speaker.
Yeah, shout out to Tony Robbins. ET's better, but shout out to Tony Robbins.
So this is from his site. I don't know if he actually wrote that definition, but that was on his site. Another definition, which I liked, it's a slightly more simplified. Small incremental diet or lifestyle changes to make small improvements in your health and well-being. And that's from Healthline.
So they're very harping on the small, the micro.
Right.
Okay.
Which, some of them are small. Some of them are a little bit bigger changes. Mm-hmm. So that's why, another one, I wasn't quite satisfied. But this one, I think, really hits it on the head. Mm-hmm. So this is using what we know about our biology and human nature to create lifestyle habits that improve our mind, body, and spirit.
Who wrote that?
The health nerd. That was a definition from yours truly. After doing some research, I was like, I think I can come up with a better definition. Because to me, that's all it is that you were using the idea that is called biohacking, right? So you're using the biology. We're using how we already are. We're not necessarily trying to change anything about ourselves. We are using what we already know about the human nature, about how our bodies operate optimally, and we're using that to fit our lifestyle and be able to get the most out of our bodies, basically. So we're changing our lifestyle to work around our bodies, how they already operate in their optimal state. Nice. What you got?
I'll say I like yours, and I think now that I know for sure that you gave your definition, I'm not gonna try to overshadow anybody and give my definition. But I like yours because it's a little bit more simple. Yeah. And I feel like big words are cool. Big words, they sound good, but I feel like when you're trying to understand something, the big words aren't necessarily helpful and practical. Right. So I like how yours really lays it out. It was nice and linear. Well done.
Thanks.
Anytime. So, biohacking. There it is. That's what we are talking about today. And I believe we are going through 6 different tips or categories. Hacks. There we go. That's what they're called. They're called hacks. Biohacking. 6 different hacks to go ahead and change your life and do good stuff. Right?
Yes. Right, think about the word hack, right? The hack is to crack a code, to do something, to help to help accomplish some goal, really quickly. Or not quickly, but efficiently. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're doing. We're just using what we know about the body to say okay, so if our bodies operate in this way, that means we should be doing this at this time, to help feed into that. Mm-hmm. We'll get into that and what I'm talking about in a second.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, without further ado, let's dive on into biohacking. The first tip, category, or hack is...
I do want to say that these are like biohacking for beginners, I would say.
Biohacking intro.
Intro to biohacking. There are some more intense ones like cold therapy and reject therapy that have, their science around. For like cold therapy, it's improving your body's response to stress. Reject therapy, same type of thing. But anyways, we're going to get into some that you're probably already doing, or if you're not, they're easy to implement. There's some of them we've already talked about, but I'm going to start with some newer ones that we haven't really touched on before. So the first one is go outside. That's new. Yeah. So basically, and that's centering around the idea that we are meant to be outside at some frequency. Our bodies literally get vitamins. I know we always forget that there's vitamin D. That is actually a vitamin that your body needs, and that only comes from the sun. It's critical. I know a lot of, when you're talking about society, a lot of people are scared. We kind of demonize the sun a little bit because it...
Who's we? I love the sun. Me and the sun are like this.
Society, because of things like skin cancer, fear tactics. We fear the sun, sunburn. I sunburn.
Who's we?
I sunburn. I do. I understand that we're a little bit more melanated.
Look, I've sunburned one time during, I think this was high school, during 2-a-days. When it was hot, it was like 120 something, shirt off, and I was peeling. But yeah, that was because I was out there for hours.
Yeah, so that's not good, especially not 120 degree weather.
Yeah, Coach Williams, what were you doing?
But getting outside every day is very good for you. Vitamin D helps regulate calcium and phosphate within the body. It helps give you energy.
Doesn't it also help regulate your emotions? And that's why when, if you're live in a place where it's gloomy weather all the time, then we have higher rates of like depression and other stuff like that.
Yep, absolutely. So these are all reasons why. Another reason why, I don't want to dive too deep into it, but another reason why is this idea of called rewilding. So that's the idea that through society, right, we built all these big buildings that we're usually inside where there's air conditioning. We usually have windows closed out to the outside. We've been domesticated as a human species. We're very domesticated now, which means that we are very out of touch with nature, with the germs, the bacteria, and everything that our body was actually designed to be around. So again, the idea is that if you get out in nature, play out in the dirt a little bit, figuratively or literally, really, whatever suits you. But yeah, just getting out, in nature, where there are birds chirping, there are things flying, crawling in the ground. Trying to picture.
I feel like as you were discussing it, you were like, actually, I don't want to do that. Things crawling, what?
Look, in my head, I was like crawling. I don't want things crawling on me.
Funny.
Perfect example. I need to be rewilded.
Yes, you do. We're gonna go camping eventually.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the idea that just we need to get back into nature. Again, the germs and the bacteria that are in nature, our body does need in some way, shape, or form to feed into the bacteria that we already have. So sometimes, we're too clean. Sometimes we're too clean, especially that's very relevant talking about the coronavirus, is that, we're washing our hands excessively right now, which is good to keep the virus away. But we could also, especially with things like this hand sanitizer, we're also getting rid of the good germs. Like we have good germs and bacteria everywhere. We are literally germs and bacteria. So by making things too clean, by eating things too clean, we're now messing with the bacteria in our gut, in our on our skin that help us protect us from bad germs.
Gotcha. So biohack number 1 introduction is to get outside, get you some sunlight, get you some nice melatonin processing and vitamin D activation and all that good stuff. But also, don't just walk around in your city because that you're missing out on a certain aspect. Maybe go on a hike, go to your local park, forest, get around some trees, some dirt, some grass, and hear some birds chirping and not just pigeons.
Yes.
There are other birds than pigeons.
There are.
Okay, biohacking number 1.
Yep. All right, number 2 is to, along the similar lines, make yourself uncomfortable. And that one's not really too deep. Just from the idea that we as humans and the way our brains work, we literally try to stay in our comfort zone. Your brain is wired to say, this is your comfort zone because this is safe, right? Yeah. You think about like back in cave people times, right? Safe meant you stay alive. Right now, safe means that your feelings aren't hurt or, you're not rejected or whatever. It means a little bit different now in 2020 than it did way back when. But our brains are still the same brains. They've evolved a little bit, but they're still the same. They still have the same instincts. So your brain is trying to keep you safe because that's what's going to keep you alive. So that's to say your body legitimately tries to stay in your comfort zone and dismisses anything that does otherwise. Dismisses anything that puts you outside of that comfort zone. So you have to be intentional about getting outside of your comfort zone. Otherwise, you will literally only stay there. And that's where growth happens, right? If you're only staying in your comfort zone, you will never experience anything new. You will never expand your mind, expand your palate, expand your friend circle. So that's where growth happens. So that's why it's good to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. And this can mean physically. This can also mean like figuratively in your relationships. But you before the podcast, you asked like, what does this mean? What do you mean by get uncomfortable? What does that mean? Does that mean like with your emotions? Does that mean physically? And I was like, it means all of it. I was listening to Ultimate Health podcast, and they had someone on that was talking about how she has very minimal furniture in her entire house because we have big couches. We have like everywhere you look, there's some place for us to sit and relax, and that's why they say like sitting is the new smoking, because we're not doing things that we used to do. We're not having to use our muscles. We're not having to. Everybody should be able to get on the floor and get up off the floor without too much struggle. And so, but because we have these big fancy couches, most people never actually go on the floor at any point in their... Right, there's no need to because you have a couch, you have a chair. So yeah, she was saying she recommends to people to have very minimal furniture. Have a bed to sleep on, have a chair too, but you don't need somewhere to sit in every room because it forces you to, stand while you watch TV. Whoa, what? Sit in butterfly or I don't know another
crisscross applesauce.
There we go.
Is what they used to call it.
There you go.
In school.
I only know the racist name for it.
Right.
That sounds sad. What are some? You find other ways to sit and to stand that can challenge your muscles in ways that they haven't been challenged.
Like it. I had a thought. What were we talking about?
Uncomfortable.
I have a thought. So, for me, entrepreneurship, I think, is an interesting way of getting uncomfortable because you're constantly having to put your dream out there, put your gift out there into the world for people to say no to.
Right.
Like, hey, look at me, I made a board game, or hey, look at me, I made a shirt, buy this, and then someone says no. Then you're like, oh,
yeah,
that's real uncomfortable.
Right.
I'm a failure. I will never do this. So I feel like the more that you can put yourself in uncomfortable positions, whether again it's entrepreneurship, whether it's sitting on the floor, which I do randomly sometimes. Like when you're doing your hair in the bathroom, I'll sit on the floor, read a book, or just watch you. It's like, hey, it's actually comfortable for me, low key. I don't know why. Anyway,
that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not. I think maybe because I've practiced putting myself in uncomfortable positions for so much. Now uncomfortable positions are almost comfortable in a weird way. Like I get some of the best sleep on the plane. Because I'm uncomfortable, but for some reason I knock out. I get some of the worst sleep every time. I get some of the worst sleep in like comfortable beds, which is very interesting. Like if this bed is just really comfortable, I'm just like, yeah, no, it's too comfy. Like we were sleeping in some bed. I don't know what this may have been at a hotel or it's TC's bed. I just don't get good sleep there. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I'm rambling. Long story short, I feel like the lens that I want to look for is through entrepreneurship and through being comfortable sharing what your dream is. I talk to a lot of students and they're like, oh, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, why? I'm like, oh, that's what my parents wanted me to be. So that's their box.
Right.
They're comfortable in this box. And
right.
then I'll start saying like, okay, well, what do you want to do?
Right. What do you?
Yeah, what do you do? What is your dream? If you can get paid to do something that you want every single day, what would that be? And sometimes they still say, I'll be a firefighter. And if that's it, cool. If your dream is to do that, lovely. But then sometimes I unravel some things and it's like, oh, actually, I want to design fashion. Oh, actually, I want to make music. Actually, I want to make movies. Actually, I want to travel the world. And it's like, beautiful. That's your dream. Own that dream and don't be afraid to go out and tell other people, hey, I want to make movies. Because there's plenty of people out there making movies and making an amazing living off of it. I'm done rambling.
Just to wrap up what you're saying, I feel like it's a like, but can I do that?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like people. I know people are doing. I know people are making great movies. We just watched one, but like, can I do that? Like, I feel like it's also a confidence thing of like, but you can because they were just like you someday. They just had the audacity to start and try.
Facts.
Yeah. And make themselves uncomfortable.
Make yourselves uncomfortable, y'all. Do something uncomfortable this week that doesn't impact your life or put you in danger, but do something that's a little bit uncomfortable, even if it's just sitting on the floor and watching one episode of your favorite Netflix or Hulu, Amazon Prime, whatever you watch one episode sitting on the floor.
Yep.
There you go.
And not in a comfortable position. Like, find something that's like, oh, a little bit like, oh, this is new, and do that position. Number 3 is show gratitude.
Nice.
So this can be in all ways, shapes, or forms. So I don't want to, if you are religious and you pray, that is a perfect example of one way that you can show gratitude, right? We pray before every meal, so that's one way that we can show gratitude. But it absolutely does not have to be in the constraints of religion. You can show gratitude just for everything that you have around you, right? You can be speaking to the universe. You can be speaking to yourself. Right. It doesn't matter. It's just being thankful for the life that you have been given, for all of the opportunities, for this chair that I'm sitting in, for this roof over my head, for the food that I am going to eat later. It's just showing gratitude for everything that you have experienced, and really, and I can attest to using this to change my outlook on life a little bit. So before, he might say I was pessimistic. I will always say that I was a realist. I like to be real. I don't like to be overly.
Y'all don't get me in trouble on this podcast, y'all. Y'all don't get me in trouble on this podcast.
Long story short, I would definitely agree that I did not.
She tried to set me up. Oh, y'all hearing this? She over here trying to set me. He was. I'm gonna say quiet. That's what I'm gonna say. Go ahead.
Anyways, I would say I did not have a positive or optimistic outlook on life.
Okay. I'm learning here, Quinn.
Shut up. But I think through a whole bunch of things, but one definitely being around this man all the time. You can't not
Team optimism.
You cannot be around someone who is optimistic all the time and not have that rub off.
Team positive energy. We in here. Team manifestation.
It's just impossible. So, 1, being around him, but 2, I think showing gratitude, it changes your outlook. So, basically, like, if you're in a situation, right, you could easily be like, man, it's kind of hot in this room. This window, it's not very soundproof. I can hear the cars going by, like.
All facts.
This is some bull. Like, you could easily do that. Or, I could be like, wow, I'm so blessed to be sitting here on a Saturday next to my very handsome husband.
Okay, talk to me.
Okay, with our own sweatshirts on.
Come on now, talk to me.
Okay, doing a podcast, sharing our love for life and all of the lessons we've learned with the world to help other people get to live their best lives.
Yes.
Right? Same exact situation, 2 very different mindsets. And so I definitely used to be more the other mindset. Like, I'm sweating. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. But now definitely more on the mindset of I have so much to be thankful for. Like, I live a blessed life.
Yes, you do.
And so it has changed my mind to just be, when you think like that, you're just generally happier because you are focusing on the good things. There are always going to be bad things going on. And especially in this environment we're in, there's a lot that you could harp on. There's a lot we could talk about that is not right with the world right now. But we're going to focus on the positive because there's also always something good to be thankful for in your life. No matter what is going on, there's always the fact that you are breathing, you know, is something to be thankful for. So showing gratitude can look on a lot of different things, and I'm going to pass it over to you in a second because you're probably better at maybe giving some ideas on how people can show gratitude. But a journal is a good one, where I've heard a lot of, this is not something, no, I have started to do this. But basically like waking up, first thing you do, right? Show gratitude in some way. Whether it's you wake up and you say a prayer, whether it's you wake up, you look in the mirror and you're just like, hey, beautiful.
There you go.
You know, we live to see another day. Let's make it the best day. Or it can be, you know, let's wake up and I'm going to write 10 things that I'm thankful for. And it can be as big or small as you want. It could be I'm thankful for my left big toe. Like, be thankful for it. And, you know, write down maybe 10 things that you're thankful for every single day. It starts to change your mindset. Do you have any other ideas?
So I do have some ideas. First of all, how far you've come, young Padawan. Well done. Your positive energy manifesting and stuff. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful to see. So I have a lot of thoughts, and hopefully I will remember them in order. But I want to start off by saying, obviously, we understand everyone is in different situations. Right. And this is going to be completely relative to the situation that you're in. But like the Queen said, no matter what situation you're in, there is some remnants of light in that situation. Yeah. There is some positivity in that situation. Again, whether it's your breathing, you had at least one meal today, you have a roof over your head, you have a friend, a family member, like whatever it is, there's always something that you can hold on to. So we're saying, like, find what that light is and amplify that light, because positivity attracts positivity. So if you're in a completely bad situation, like, again, we'll talk about back sophomore year in college, we were sleeping very uncomfortably on a twin mattress on the floor. Yep. No bed frame, no furniture, and it wasn't intentional. Like, we weren't living a minimalist lifestyle in college. I wasn't like, you know what, I'm not going to buy any furniture. I'm just going to live this. No, it was, dang, I can't afford nothing. Okay, I can get a mattress. Okay, I can get this from this place. All right, cool. We got a mattress and we got a dresser and some speakers because you need music. That's it. But we didn't complain, not once that year. We had complete positivity the entire year. We were both hustling, grinding, had our EBT. We were struggling getting our groceries. And then the next year, we moved into a house. TH4. We had our own bedroom. We got a bed frame up in the bad boy. You feel me? We got a projector and we put that. We got a whole computer and I had a desk junior year. So just saying, like, whatever situation you're in right now, look for the light, grab that light, and then positivity attracts positivity. And guaranteed the next year, the next month, you're not going to be in the exact same situation. Number 2 is don't just show gratitude like to the universe, because sometimes that can seem big and audacious, like, oh, thank God, universe, ancestors, whatever it is. But show gratitude to other people. I'm sometimes like in meetings at work, or I'm in the grocery store opening doors for people or letting people go back in line, and ain't nobody saying thank you. Yeah. Right? And
it's like they're entitled.
Yeah, it's like you feel entitled, like, oh yeah, you better open the door, and don't even get me started on the whole oppressive complex and who usually doesn't say thank you and who sometimes does say thank you. It's usually a power dynamic there. But me personally, I am I show over gratitude probably more than I even should. Like, if someone lets me walk across the street, like, and they're driving their car, I always go, thank you. Get a little wave. Always say thank you to the cash register. How was your day? How you doing? Are you healthy? Cool. Yeah. Thank you. When the Postmates person comes, I'm always like, oh, thank you so much. I hope you're healthy. Over and beyond, show gratitude, because that energy that you emute, that energy that you're just giving out to the world, the universe and other people will eventually pour it back into you. So show gratitude to people, your partner every time. Even if Sinclair doesn't cook food, even if you order food, I'm like, thank you for dinner. It's like you just ordered it. Thank you for dinner. This morning I was cleaning the kitchen. She came out. The kitchen, it's my job to clean the kitchen. But she was still like, thanks, babe. Thanks for cleaning up. I'm like, thank you. Yeah, I was going to do it anyway, but I appreciate the gratitude. So that's number 2. The third one that I'll talk about is journaling, kind of like the Queen said. So you can have your journal, your affirmations where you say like, I am thankful. I am blessed. I am thankful for my home. I'm thankful for my clothes. I'm thankful for my smile. I'm thankful for my mind. I'm thankful for my health. Like really take the time to say what you are thankful for. And I feel like it will start to shift your energy a little bit. It will start to shift your positivity. That's all I got, Queen.
Off of that last thing, we're gonna wrap up this one.
Okay.
Is that think of it like when if you wanted to get strong biceps, right? You're gonna do curls, right? You're
curls for the girls.
There you go. You're training your muscles. Your brain is a think of. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily a muscle. It is a muscle. Thank you. Your brain is a muscle. It needs to be trained. So that's why you're doing these things. Just the same as you'd wake up every day and you do your curls. You wake up and you write down your gratitude, whatever it is. You're practicing it because you're training your body. You're training your mind to look at and focus on the positive things. That's not something that's going to happen overnight. There is not. As far as I'm concerned, in my personal experience and what I've heard, it's usually not one moment and then from then on you just focus on the positive. Like it's something you have to constantly work on. And when something bad happens, you may get set back a couple steps, right? You get injured, you're not going to be able to do your curls every day. So you might need to take a couple days off. That doesn't mean you go all the way back to where you started. That just means like, all right, maybe I can't do the curls, but let me do something else instead. But long story short is you need to train your mind to focus on the positive, and that's what gratitude does. So think of it like that. Like it's something you actually have to practice every single day.
Facts. I had another thought, but I don't know. Are we going too far into this one?
Yeah, you're usually the time master. You tell me. We're halfway through.
All right. So one more quick thought is your experiences, your lens, and just your knowledge shape how you literally see the world. Okay. So again, if you're coming from a negative standpoint, and let's say you walk into a room and there's a microphone and there's some lights and there's a camera. If you are walking into a negative standpoint, you would be like, man, there's no one else here. It's just me. There's no food here. Where's the water? There's no chair. What am I gonna do? Right? But if you're walking into this and you have a positive mindset, or you're an experienced YouTuber, or you're an experienced social media person, so you see a microphone, a camera, and a light, and you're like, ooh, let's get to work. Right. I can make a whole vlog, I can make a podcast, I can make a movie.
A whole movie.
I can make a movie, music video, I can do anything. The possibilities are endless. Again, same room, same materials, just different lifestyles or different mindsets. So the world is a huge room, right? What do you see when you step into the world? What do you see when you step into this opportunity? And hopefully you're able to see the positive, the light, and the opportunities that you have with the experience and knowledge that you have. Right?
If you're a person that frequently watches the news, you may, I know.
I stopped.
Yes.
I couldn't do it no more, y'all. I stopped.
I have noticed something about myself when I more frequently am paying attention to the news, watching stories, trying to keep up with what's going on. It's a little bit harder, just a little bit harder to stay positive. And that is because kind of the way media is going right now is everybody's just trying to get the next sensation. Everybody's trying to get the most views, to be first breaking news or whatever, regardless of what the repercussions are going to be, regardless of what they're saying is true, regardless of the fact that every single story they've said is all negative. They just want to get what's going to get views. So that's another thing, as just another subtle tip, is if I grew up, news was what was on in the morning. And I didn't even realize how much that probably played into my slightly pessimistic point of, view of the world. You are literally waking up and the first thing you're watching is violence, murder, is rape, is people sick, whatever it is, right? It's still happening. That does not mean that I need to feed my brain with it the first thing I do when you wake up. So that's another step for you. If you find yourself like, it's just, but there's so much going on in the world, so much negative, maybe dial back from the news a little bit, you know, and see how that goes.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Let's get into number 4.
The next 3, hopefully we'll go a little bit quicker because we have covered these next 3 and we've have experience with these next 3. So we have other podcasts that'll go deep into them. But number 4 is intermittent fasting, which we have a whole podcast on, whole episode on. But basically that is the idea that you are fasting for a set amount of time. There are a whole bunch of different ways, you know, go do some research on what would work best for you. But the intermittent fasting method that we use is called the 16-8. And that's just general. It's not as rigid for us anymore because we've been doing it for a while. But the 16-8 method, which means that you are eating for 8 hours out of the day and you are fasting for 16. And part of that 16 is sleep. So don't think that you have to be awake. You have to be awake for all 16 of those hours. But it'd be like, you know, if you eat from 12 to 8, then you would not eat again from 8 p.m. You would not eat again until 12 p.m. the next day. And the purpose of that is to, one, give your body a little break from digestion. We don't realize how much energy it takes to digest food. So it's the idea that giving your body a little bit of a break on a daily basis from having to digest food can divert that energy to other places, can give you more energy, can give you more brain and mental power. The idea is that it also promotes longevity. Right? If your body does not have to spend as much energy on a daily basis breaking down your food, it can conserve that energy and to be able to provide energy for all of your organs to be your heart to be beating, your lungs to be breathing for a longer period of time. That's the idea, that it can expand your lifespan. And there are a whole bunch of other different, you know, benefits. One being, you know, it can help keep your insulin levels lower.
And your incident levels too. Yeah, the less you eat, the less accidents can happen.
Sure. But it helps you with your insulin levels and your blood sugar levels, keeping them more stable. You don't want the ups and downs. So eating throughout the day, every time you eat, especially if you're eating like refined carbs and sugars, your blood sugar's taking a spike. You're having an insulin is being pumped into your body. So your insulin levels are going like this throughout the day, which is not good. That going up and down can promote things like diabetes, which obviously is not good. So keeping it more level throughout the day is good. So again, I don't want to dive too much into that. I can go really deep into this subject, so I won't. But there's a whole podcast episode on it. But that is a way to biohack, because again, the idea is that if we can conserve some of our energy, then it can be sent to other places within our body to do other things and help conserve our energy throughout our lifetime.
Yep, and one extra thing I'll talk about, again, the Queen said we have an entire podcast on it, so definitely circle back and watch that or listen to it. But it's also a good wallet hack. If you are, you know, fasting for most of the day and you're only eating one meal, maybe a meal and a snack, now you're saving an extra $10, $15 per day because you're eating less food. Yeah. So not only do you have more energy to divert other things, but you have more income, you have more money to divert to other things as well. So if you do that for, let's say, every day, 30 days a month, that's $300 a month that you can save. 300 times 12 is $3,600. Almost $4,000 in the year. You can take that $4,000 and you can go on a trip somewhere or save it for 2 years, and now that's a down payment on possibly a house if it's FHA 3% down. All right. So really, biohack can also lead into other hacks and financial things to give you freedom. So just something to think about a little bit while you were like, I'm not about to be fasting. Go and think about a little bit how you can really make that one decision, how it can have trickle effects on other things as well.
Yep.
All right, number 5, Queen, the health nerd. Hit us with the feel.
High five on it.
Hey.
Meditate. That is the 5th one. And again, we've talked about this multiple times. I don't know if we have a full podcast episode on meditation, but we've definitely talked about it in multiple episodes.
Y'all want to hear a full episode about meditation? Let us know. Send us a comment. Again, we're on Instagram, True Health, the number 4 ever. If you're listening to this on Anchor, you can send us a voice message. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. Do you want a episode on the different ways to meditate, center your energies, and really discover your true self. All right, quick.
I don't want to interrupt that deep silent moment. But so the idea behind meditation is that you are, again, training your brain to focus. And I feel like what I used to think about meditation is that you're trying to empty your mind. It's impossible. You're just always going to have thoughts in your mind. So if that's why you don't get into meditation, then delete that from your brain. That's not what meditation is about. It's about focusing. Either on a thing, an object, a thought, an idea, but the idea is that you're just supposed to focus. And so yes, thoughts come, right? It's okay for thoughts to come while you're meditating, but the idea is that if you're focusing, then they come and they pass. They come and they pass, and as you get better at it, they come and go really quickly, and you don't even harp on it. So like right now, I'm a little bit further in the meditation journey than I was when I first was talking about meditation, which is cool. Mm-hmm. So I'm now I'm very aware when my mind shifts, right? And what I'm noticing is that I'm quicker now to bring it back. Is like, oh, okay, I'm thinking about something I'm going to do later. Hey, that's not focusing on your breath. So for me, right, I like to focus on breathing because it's something very easy and tangible. I can count my breaths. I can, it's something that just, it's within, it's something I can control. So that's what I like to focus on. Mm-hmm. I know we have talked about our different meditation methods. We meditate very differently, but it works for both of us. Mm-hmm. But I think it's really cool that, as I'm getting better at it, I'm noticing that it's much easier for me to bring it back when those thoughts come. They're going to come, but now I'm able to be like, oh, okay, that's not breathing. Let's bring it back to breathing. All right. And, and I'm good to stay there. Mm-hmm. How do you meditate?
So my meditation is I like to go outside of myself personally. I really like to look at the big picture. So I'll be laying down and I'll zoom up, see above our building. I'll see above our neighborhood. I'll really see the people walking around, some of the folks that are in the neighborhood. I zoom out even more, see the city. And then if I make it far enough, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, then I like to zoom out all the way to the planet. Mm-hmm. Just because I feel like I'm a big picture person, and just seeing how big the world is and my small part in that world for some reason calms me a little bit, but then it also motivates me to okay, well, let me get out and put something into that world that I just saw.
Nice. But one of the things I wanted to talk about when it comes to meditation is there's science behind this. If you're like, this is hoo-ha, this is voodoo, this is witchcraft.
This is hoo-ha. First of all, you say hoo-ha.
How old are you, first of all? But there are brain waves, you have brain waves, mm-hmm. And there are different states that your brain go in that put your physical state in different. I feel like I'm going back and forth. Let me go ahead and just go through the states. So you have beta, that is a brain wave, and that is your awake. We are both in beta right now. We're awake, we're conscious, we're here with y'all.
So we think.
Don't go into simulation theory. Okay, we're here. We're here.
We're in beta. Yes,
there's alpha, which is the meditative state. Mm-hmm. And I posted an Instagram video a little while ago, and I had such a good meditation session that morning. Mm-hmm. I was all the way in alpha. I feel it. I feel when I'm in alpha. Because it's one of those, when you finish, you're like, I'm not asleep.
But I'm not awake.
But I'm not, my usual awake energy self. It's I'm conscious, but I'm not, my energy level isn't at that high level it normally is. It's just like a chill,
Is it out of body experience a little bit?
I wouldn't say it's an out of body experience. It's more just things could happen right now, and I don't really know if I'd be reacting.
High off life.
Yeah, just stuck. But in a good way. It doesn't feel like I can't move. What's going on? It's
not
in
a sunken place.
No, not like a sunken place. It feels more of just I'm super chill and unbothered, which is for me a good thing, a good place to be, because I have struggled with anxiety and things in the past, and so. And in the present, let's be real. Mm-hmm. So to be in a calm state where it's really whatever happens right now, I'm not gonna be too far off where I'm at right now, like my energy level right now. And that's a good place for me to start the day because it doesn't last like forever, right? I'm there for like a good like 10 minutes and then you start to like gradually come out of it.
And let's hop on a Zoom call.
Right, you gotta, right? Because there's life. But for me, starting my day like that makes it so that just gradually I'm getting up to like my more upbeat self. But it helps me like not be so reactive throughout the day, which again for me is good because one, it conserves energy, but two, it's just less emotionally taxing, right? If someone cuts me off and if I haven't meditated that day, I might be like, man, why'd you like what's going on, right? But I've noticed, like I physically will notice, like there's some times where someone's doing something crazy, going through all the lanes, and I'm just like, they got somewhere to go. That's a lot of energy to be doing all of that, and you ain't getting in there no faster than I am. So you have fun doing that, right? They're just two, again, same situation, but two very different approaches to it. And I notice that when I meditate, I handle situations usually way better. I don't overreact. I'm usually solutions focused because I'm like, I'm not gonna spend all my energy, getting mad or getting angry because that's not gonna get me a solution. So how do we get past this, whatever it is? So that's why I like meditation. I don't know if you have anything to add.
So before I add, beta, alpha, those are the only two?
No, there's more. I was gonna.
Okay, can we quickly run off the other?
I'm gonna save those for the next one because they have to do with sleep.
Oh, for the next
hack.
Yes. Gotcha. Okay, so I don't have any more tips. I would say the only thing I would say is, again, like translating what we're saying to even other things. Meditation is about focus. A lot of us, including myself, are not too good at focusing and like really sitting down and doing one thing at a time. Okay, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna write this comic. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna email customers back. I'm gonna sit down and do this Instagram post. But sometimes like a text message will come like, oh, okay, well in the middle of me writing, let me go to this text message. Or someone will call you, okay, let me open this up. Or the queen will be saying something in the bathroom, Devon, can you come here? Oh, let me go to the bathroom real quick. And it's like other things always pop up. You need to learn, okay, how can I focus my energy? Right now, I'm doing a podcast. All my energy should be going towards giving good and impactful information in this podcast. After this, we're going to go shopping. While I'm shopping, I should be focusing on, we're going to go to Target, get some stuff, you know what I'm saying? But focusing on, we are shopping right now. Earlier today, I was writing a comic. Okay, for 20 minutes, it doesn't have to be like an hours, for 20 minutes, I'm going to sit down and I am writing this comic. So again, I think once you practice meditation a little bit, which can get very uncomfortable, but once you get good at focusing in on that one thought, that one feeling, that one moment, I think it'll help you translate and really be able to concentrate and focus in on tasks that you're doing that can have real world implications on your life.
Absolutely. And I feel like, especially with today, like I literally have this phone in my hand, obviously for notes, but there could be someone who calls me. Someone could send me a text.
Joy Ann Marie is now going live on Instagram.
Right. I'm like, so it's so easy, like, especially with businesses, they know everybody has a phone now that's usually in their hands. So they are trying to come to your phones and to get you to buy whatever it is they're selling to you. So it is very important in today's society, especially we have such short attention spans because of all of this technology and everything dinging and going off and whatever. So it is very important to be able to focus. Like it's becoming a lost art. So yeah, to your point, it is a very good focus activity.
Yep. All right, we're going into the last one, and I thought of a bonus one that I'm going to do after your last one.
Let's do it. So this last one, I mentioned there are 4 states. So I mentioned alpha and beta already. There are actually 2 more that have to do with you being in sleep. So there'll be a nice, good transition. So theta is the light.
Theta. We rep theta. Theta. We rep theta. Theta. We rep it. Ooh.
The real ones. If you know, you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. All right, cool.
So theta is the sleep, your sleep wave, but it's when you're dreaming. Usually like lighter, like sleep, but you're dreaming. And then delta is that deep, dreamless sleep. Dreamless sleep. So if you're dreaming, you're in theta. If you're not, you are in deep.
Delta,
deep sleep. Delta, deep. So that's a good transition into sleep time, which is our last hack, our last biohack. And that has to do with what time you're going to sleep and what time you are waking up. Not necessarily how long you are sleeping, it is specifically what time you are going to bed and waking up. Because there is research that shows that there is a window in the day to where the average person, right, and there's a little bit that varies based on genetics, but for the average person, there's a window in the day when you will get the best deep sleep. And that window, again, varies a little bit, but in general, I've heard like 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., right, that 4-hour window. But I've heard it can be even as broad as like 8 p.m. to midnight. So, yeah, so anywhere from like 8 p.m. to 2 a.m., there is a time frame, and it's based off of circadian rhythm, which I've talked about. Big word. All it means is when the sun goes up and the sun comes down. Our body reacts to that, right? Our body reacts to sunlight. When the sun is up, that's when our skin knows that. We can feel the sun rays. It knows, it can see the light, and it knows that it's daytime. I should be awake. I should be in beta. I should be being productive. And when it's dark, right, there are things that actually chemically happen in your body. Your body starts producing melatonin, which makes you tired, and that happens when there is no more sunlight, which is why generally you start to get tired later in the evening. So if you actually are asleep during that time frame, you are likely to get better deep sleep, which we all need deep sleep. There are a whole bunch of different sleep stages. That's another podcast episode we've done. We've done some pretty good
You know what I'm saying? We got some hitters.
Right?
Man, rock with us,
right.
y'all. Rock with
We did a
us.
whole podcast on the different sleep stages. But you want to get that deep sleep. That's important. So if you are actually asleep during that time period, it is more likely for the average person that you are going to get better sleep quality. And you're going to actually go through all of your sleep stages. If you've ever had a full night's sleep but you still wake up feeling groggy, that probably means you didn't hit all your sleep cycles. You probably didn't get enough deep sleep. Each stage of sleep hits a different part of the body and serves a different purpose. Some of it's for your brain and for your memory recollection. Some of it's more for your physical muscles, making sure that they wake up feeling rejuvenated. So if you are not going to bed until 2 a.m., then you can sleep for 10 hours and you might still wake up feeling like you slept for 2. Not just because, the time period for when your body was going to get the best sleep has already passed. So you may still get some sleep, but it's not going to be that deep, restful sleep. You're not going to wake up as rejuvenated.
Gotcha. So I think, again, translating it to real world stuff, I think especially as entrepreneurs, we think, okay, I'm going to stay up real late, I'm going to get all this work in, and then I'm going to go to sleep, and then, wake up real early. You're not putting gas in your tank. You are going to run out, and your brain isn't going to be operating at the top optimal speed that it could be running. Another thing is, I think some people, they sleep in and they think that, okay, if I sleep in until 12, I sleep in until 11, that's gonna give me more energy. You're not getting that much more energy, right? So it's better it's better, literally science-wise, to go to sleep earlier than it is to go to sleep later and then also wake up later. And I felt it, I felt the days where we go to bed at 10:30 and I'll wake up at 6, complete energy, I feel good. And then there's other days where, I stay up late because I'm just stuck in creative mode and I won't go to bed until 2 a.m. But then I'll wake up at 10, so I've gotten more sleep. But that day I'm just no, the energy is just not here. I feel off, I don't feel like myself. So that's one thing that I think I want to get better at moving forward, is trying to go to sleep I'll say by 11. 10 I think is a little early for me. We'll see. But I feel 11, and Queen, try to hold me to this. Not during the weekends. We gotta have fun, turn out. But during the week, Monday through Thursday, help me go to bed by 11 p.m. That way I can really get some good sleep.
To your point, you brought up a good point, and I know it is hard, but there's another study, I think it was done by Harvard, that shows that it's actually even more important that whatever you do, you're just consistent with it. So it's actually not good to say, during the week I'm going to have this schedule, and during the weekend I'm going to have this schedule. So again, that's varying research, and I would say do the experimentation with yourself, right? One of the biohacking definitions was self-experimentation. So do an experiment with yourself, like it's okay. But it was saying, like, even if you do go to bed at 10 a.m. and wake up at, go to bed at 2 a.m. and wake up at 10 a.m., that's fine as long as you do that every single day.
Nah.
Right, no. Most people aren't. But,
nah.
if you, as much as you can, try on the weekends to keep your same sleeping schedule so that you don't have to alter it. Because at some point, right, if you're changing your schedule, there's at some point in there where you're either going to stay up later and you're going to miss that window, and then you're going to have to try to play catch up, which doesn't really work like that with sleep. But yeah, as much as you can, try to keep it consistent, which we're guilty of not doing that as well. We usually try to stay up later on the weekends, but as much as you can, try to keep it consistent. But yes, to your point, like these are little sleep. That's like I would say kind of a small change that you can make. Like if you go to bed at midnight, try just shifting it an hour earlier. See how that changes. Try shifting
11:30. 11:30 is our time, even on the weekends. 11:30 is our bedtime. I feel like you have to treat yourself like a child sometimes. Give yourself a bedtime. You know
like
what?
Set an alarm. I used to set an alarm. I stopped doing that, but why did I? Oh, because it would wake me up. That's why. I used to set an alarm, and then I would actually fall asleep before the alarm went off, so the alarm would just wake me up, and that was counterproductive. But if you want to set an alarm at like 8 o'clock to remind yourself to go to bed at 10, you can do that too. Or maybe a silent alarm, something less abrupt.
Indeed. So the bonus.
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about really like being asleep, like, I gotta go to sleep.
That's the worst. Waking up to an alarm or waking up late, like you missed the alarm. Oh, it's one of the worst feelings. The bonus that I want to do is, and this is a bonus, but I think connects with the whole make yourself uncomfortable, is for an hour, and you do an experiment. Turn your phone either completely off or put it on airplane mode, and then just focus on whatever it is that you want to do. It can be, if it's watching TV, cool, watch some TV. If it's writing, write. If it's being a dancer, go ahead and dance for an hour. Like just really turn off your phone. Turn on airplane mode so you can't get any text messages, no Instagram notifications, you can't scroll, like you just turn it off and you do whatever it is that you want to do, that you feel like pours into your cup. I know personally, like when my phone is on airplane mode or when my phone's in like just a completely other room, I feel a little bit lighter. I think there's the phone is a great, powerful tool. It's a great economic tool, but I feel like it is sometimes the deliverer of anxiety, the deliverer of stress. Sometimes it's a crutch too. Like if you're bored, you'll just go to your phone real quick and just start scrolling. And I caught myself doing this, I think, today while I was in a meeting that, I didn't need to give my full attention to. But I was just like grabbing my phone. But I didn't even know, I wasn't even looking for anything. Like I was scrolling down, looking at notifications. I was just moving around to give myself something to do. So long story short, I challenge you, I don't know if this is a biohack, a tech hack, but just turn off your phone, turn on airplane mode, set it aside, and go intentionally do something for yourself.
Gotta help you learn something about yourself too. Like, what is it that I actually want to do when I'm not being prompted, by my phone?
Big. All right, we're rounding it up. Thank y'all for joining us. This is episode 32.
Whoop, whoop,
32. We made it. Shout out. I did want to do a quick plug. It's not a complete plug, but we'll plug these self-love sweatshirts. They're coming out soon. Self-love. Each color wave has a different message behind it, so we are being very intentional about trying to spread awareness about anti-violence, spread awareness about mental health, anxiety. So definitely check that out on our website, truehealth4ever.com, and they will be available very, very soon. But I wanted to give a shout out to us. Shout out, Queen. Doing your thing. I see it. Because this is, next episode will be the longest series we have ever done. As individuals and together.
Nice.
The second longest is Talking in TJ, which is still available on YouTube. I still get some nuggets from it, even though most of those only have like 1 or 2 views. I ain't mad at it though.
You're one of them.
I'm probably both of the views. I'm not gonna lie. You know, it's all good. But like for people out there, again, trying to make yourself uncomfortable, just start. I know a lot of people that are like, oh, you know, I don't want to start a YouTube channel because I don't want to put it up there and then it only gets one view. Everybody starts with one view.
Right.
Everybody starts. Literally, everyone starts with one view, one follower, one person. So you need to start somewhere. And we still have, again, videos up there that have 1 view, 2 views, 0 views. But we're 32 episodes into our podcast, and the podcast continues to get some good love. Appreciate the friends, the family, the coworkers that are always shouting us out and saying good job, keeping us going. We appreciate the energy. But yeah, we're going to keep this going, and hopefully 32 more are going to come. All right. Anything you want to sprinkle on that before I wrap us up, Queen?
No, just showing gratitude to you all for the love, for watching this. Literally, if you're hearing me right now, that means you're watching us. So thank you for supporting. To be quite frank, we don't get paid to do this podcast. Like, we just do it because we love it and we want to share this with the world. Yes. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving us love, and hopefully you will continue to watch our episodes and, you know, learn as we learn as well.
Yep. Well, thanks again for tuning in to the True Health Forever podcast, where we try to live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
My name is Sinclair.
Ooh, good catch.
My name is Hands.
Ooh.
Ooh, what's up? My name is Sinclair, a.k.a. Spider Woman.
Or Spider Woman. If y'all listen to the podcast, her phone was about to fall. And mid-air, like the ninja she is, she caught it. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish up your wrap-up.
My name is Sinclair, a.k.a. the Black Ninja.
Ooh, yes.
Say a different name every time. No. a.k.a. the Health Nerd.
Make sure y'all stay healthy. Make sure y'all stay mentally wealthy. And of course, make sure y'all stay true.